I know what you're thinking. Ugh, Zero, you're doing gravity again? Well, I didn't plan on it, but you guys left lots of comments full of ideas of how to take the gravity drive to the next level. And let me tell you, some of these ideas are very, very spicy. And I'm very excited to try them out. And the blueprints to every ship used in this video can be found in the description below. Before we start, let's look at what we found out previously. Gravity generators create an artificial gravity field that affects players, floating debris such as scrap metal, and most relevantly, artificial mass blocks. For some reason, the devs decided it would be a good idea to allow gravity generators to pull artificial mass blocks on the same grid. Dubbed by the community the gravity drive, this pulls the grid at absolutely insane speeds, faster than any thruster and at a fraction of the energy cost. But I've been reminded there's more than one type of gravity generator, and the other type makes building a gravity ship much, much easier. However, first we're going to look at something that was only made possible recently thanks to Warfare 2. The Warfare 2 update added the custom turret controller to the game, which makes it insanely easy to build custom turrets. A comment on the previous video suggested that we use a custom turret to control the direction of our gravity ship. Let's try it out. I built this contraption, shall we call it? Got a custom turret in the middle. This rotor obviously turns it left and right. This rotor turns it up and down. And at the back I have a gravity generator attached. If I get into the cockpit, go into spectator, and as we did before, if you go to your info and go to show gravity range, you can see I've configured this so it's online. And if I control the custom turret, you'll see that it shoots out, I guess, a beam of gravity in all these directions. So it catches some of the mass blocks, and in theory, we should be able to pull ourselves along by pointing in a direction. You'll see if you want to go in a direction, we'll capture these mass blocks up here and the mass blocks at the front, so we should go in that sort of direction. So let's give it a test. As you see in front of me, right in the distance, I've got the gravity ring from the previous video. We're going to try and fly towards that. So I'm going to press 1 to control my custom turret. And 3, 2, 1, go. I have noticed one thing. I can't actually see how fast I'm going when I'm in control of the turret. It does seem to be working in principle. I can sort of aim in a direction I want to go and then miss it by a massive amount, I think. It's definitely an interesting experience, let's put it that way. It's definitely much more difficult to control than a normal ship is. But I think I can get the hang of it. Or not. Well, you know what they say, another happy landing. I think overall it's an interesting idea, but it's just so difficult to fly. But if any of you can think of an easier method of controlling this thing, please let me know, because otherwise I really don't recommend this idea or design. A lot of you are very keen to make me aware of Spaceballs. Whilst they do have a funny name, I was hesitant to use them in my last two videos for a number of reasons, but let's have a look at them now. Spaceballs are certainly interesting. They're like mass blocks, except they have their own power source built in, and you can go to their settings and you can increase and decrease how much mass they have. Like mass blocks are affected by gravity, but aside from that, they're not too great. With Striker unavailable, we can't do a race, so instead we're going to use the same torpedo twice, once with the mass block and once with the spaceball, and see which gets to 100 meters per second the fastest. First we have the mass block. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go, 100 meters per second. And same again with the spaceball set to the maximum possible mass. 3, 2, 1, go. And I can tell you now, without even timing it, this is considerably slower. So the spaceball took exactly double the amount of time to hit the speed cap, and whilst the spaceballs do definitely have their uses for things like gravity weapons, for the gravity drive they are outclassed by mass blocks in every single way, other than the fact they don't require power. Computer, pause simulation. Hello, I've caught you in the middle of the video to make an announcement. In the summer, I'd like to host a Space Engineers multiplayer server with you guys. For those of you that don't operate in seasons, that would be the beginning of July, and if you're watching this in the future, the server might already exist. Crazy how time works, right? The server would be a mix of traditional survival with a couple of events mixed in. For example, I've already constructed an arena for a Robot Wars / BattleBot style event, and with the new turret controllers, I thought a tank battle might be fun as well. If you want to see some examples of this, I will link 3 videos of events we did in the past to give you a feel of what we're going for. If you'd like to join in, make suggestions, discuss what we're going to do on the server, or just, hang out, there's a link to my Discord in the description where I'll be hosting the server, and there's also links down there to the other platforms I use if you'd like to check them out. Anyway, back to the video. Computer, resume simulation. I won't lie, I forgot the spherical gravity generator existed. Its use is so niche that it completely slipped my mind. The normal gravity generator pulls things in one direction, from up to down or vice versa. The spherical gravity generator pulls things towards it like a planet does. So in theory, we could use this to really easily build a gravity drive that operates in all directions. So I've placed the spherical gravity drive at the centre of my previous turret controlled gravity ship. So in theory, what should happen is it should pull all the mass blocks in all the different directions. What I've also had to do is I've renamed all of the mass blocks using build vision to the direction they're going to pull. So the mass blocks from the right will be pulled into the ship, moving the ship left. And at the same at the front, I've named them backwards because when they're turned on, they pull the ship backwards. In theory, it should give us a really easy method of moving all 6 directions. So I've got build info on just to make it easy to see what all the buttons do. But I'm going to press 3 now to turn on my spherical gravity drive. And in theory, if I press 1, we should start moving forwards. Yeah, we do. Good. Very slowly, but I've only got the 1 gravity generator on the ship. I have actually realised we're going backwards, which means I've named something wrong, which is always good. I've actually, by some miracle, named all of them wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly invert the gravity on the ship, which should, in theory, put me all in the right directions. Now if I press forward, we should start going forward. So we're going to aim for the ring again. Look, yep, we're going towards the ring. Perfect. Looks like we need to go a little bit to the left. So I'm going to press 4 to go left. Turn my thrusters off. And when we start to get in line, I'm going to turn it off. Right, turn it off. Press 5 to turn my mass blocks on the other side. So I'll start going back. We need to go down a little bit. So press 8 to go down. Press 2 to start slowing down. This is actually really easy to use. I mean, we're going to overshoot it by miles, but... and I think if I had a bit of practice, I think this would be a really easy way to actually control a ship. Bit clunky, yes, but far easier than using that turret earlier. If you're wondering why we're so high up, my up and down are still inverted. I don't know what's wrong. I'm sure I named them all correctly. So we're kind of above it now, so I'm going to put the reverse thrust on to try and slow down. Within 2 kilometers, as long as we don't hit it, this will be success. And there you go, we're about to fly right past it. That was actually surprisingly easy. And there you go, gravity generator off, thrusters off. We did it! I think this one definitely gets a big thumbs up. I could actually see myself using this one in a survival game. I'm a builder, not a fighter, but it seems many of you guys are the latter. An overwhelming majority of you wanted to weaponize the gravity drive, to use its insane power to ruin other people's days. So I did some testing and the results are, well, they're very impressive. So I've got here a cube of 16 by 16 by 16 heavy armor, and for comparison's sake, I'm going to use the base game's best weapons against it, just to show you how effective gravity weapons are compared to them. From my super weapon video, we ascertained that the railgun was the strongest base game weapon, so I'm just going to fire one of these at the cube. And on average, the railguns pierce about 3 to 4 layers of heavy armor. Next, we're going to try a warhead. And the warhead does some scatter shot damage on the grid, but it only seems to pierce about 2 layers of heavy armor, with this 3rd layer here not even being damaged at all. And here we have just a bog standard simple gravity drive, 1 battery, 1 mass block, and 1 gravity generator. You can see that they did put 1.5 blocks in a big radius, but whilst yes, the railgun has pierced more armor, what if I told you there's a way to make these gravity generators pierce more blocks of armor? Potentially all 16 of them. And there's a really easy way to do this. Put a drill on the front. 3, 2, 1, go. I pierce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? 12. And the drill is not only intact, but it has taken no damage whatsoever. Drills seem to have this special property not to take damage from impacts. I presume this is because you'll be bashing them against voxels, but this makes them really effective to put at the tips of your gravity weapons. So let's have some fun. I'm sure you'll recognise this ship from my super weapon video. If you don't, you should go watch that video. I've created a blueprint of one of my gravity missiles, so I'm just going to paste them in and watch the fireworks happen. With only a couple of missiles, I've completely detached the back section of the ship, and the front section isn't looking too good either. And as before, none of the drills have taken any damage. So if you want to be building gravity weapons, you want to be using drills as the tip of them for the maximum damage. Do you guys have any ideas for any more gravity related monstrosities? Let me know with a comment below.